look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga who ain't never had none. Hoes used to talk down, bitch, look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga by the dollar. I ain't never gonna change, I ain't never gonna change. Use a lamb, nigga, dick ride next man. Cause you see that it get a low change. I been doing thug thing, keeping it low key, nigga. I stay out the way. Every day hustling, tired of the struggling. 24/7, nigga, gotta get paid. Posted at the trap house first and last out. I ain't going home, I remember them days. All night flight, dog, selling out white hard. Money ain't right, I'ma knock out the G. Early in the morning in the mall for some G's. Get fresh for the day, Gotta go flip a pack, dog. Put up some racks, dog. Make that shit back. What I spend on them G's, used to whoop up that white sauce. Come bring that shit back, gotta fuck up the East. It's so easy just to drop hard. I get straight, rock the shit off, flip it 28, skirt, that's a double whoop. 28 to 56, knock at the door, fee inspection for another hood. Cell phone ring cap, calling for another zip. Weigh it up, bag it up, gotta take another trip. Still the same nigga who ain't never had nothing. Hoes used to talk down, bitch, look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga who ain't never had nothing. Hoes used to talk down, bitch, look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga. Bitch, look at me now. Nah, nigga really trap out the pounds. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Got them lined up, high script out the pot. Bitch, look at me now. Nah, nigga really trap out the pounds. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Saying nigga who ain't never had nothing. Hoes used to talk down, bitch, look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga who ain't never had nothing. Hoes used to talk down, bitch, look at me now. Started with a quarter ounce, graduated to a QP9. Nigga really trap out the pounds. Got the same crew for days, ain't had time to change. Poker full of fists cause I beat up the block. Residue on my scale, line full of clientele. Got them lined up, pie strip out the pot. Still the same nigga by the dollar. I ain't never gonna change, I ain't never gonna change. Use a lamb, nigga, dick ride next man. Cause you see that it get a low change. I been doing thug thing, keeping it low key, nigga. I stay out the way. Every day hustling, tired of the struggling. 24/7, nigga, gotta get paid. Posted at the trap house first and last out. I ain't going home, I remember them days. All night flight, dog, selling out white hard. Money ain't right, I'ma knock out the G. Early in the morning in the mall for some G's. Get fresh for the day, Gotta go flip a pack, dog. Put up some racks, dog. Make that shit back. What I spend on them G's, used to whoop up that white sauce.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. Let me let this plane fly over real quick. All right. So, let's see. First off, how are you all doing this weekend? Hope you all had a great week, progressive week. One that you got a lot done without hurting yourself, causing hurt or any harm to your body. Today, interesting, or tonight rather, I want to speak on people becoming the one that they hate. And usually when I do this, I speak on it from another perspective, but I want to speak directly to you all. And the reason I want to speak to everyone, this is peace to everyone in the chat. I mean, everyone. And I want to speak to you all about this, and this is very important, is that indigenous Americans that happen to be darker skinned, right, or Negro, for lack of better words, they're starting to become exactly like the racist, colorists, the Europeans, the pale skins, the Asians that they call them, all of these different names, these different groups of people that are racist and colorist, they're becoming just like, what do I mean? They start to try to disenfranchise these people based off a few things. And what are these things, right? It's the pain. Because when you look at the pain that the people are going through, they're like, well, my family said we were this. And because of this group of people on paper, we're now this. We're now black, Negro, mulatto, whatever it is. We're disenfranchised. So with us being disenfranchised, it separated us from our natural state, and it caused us some form of confusion, right? Or frustration and anger over all these generations. So it's like saying, so basically, if you're not one of these people, basically imagine knowing your ancestors' languages, their land, their whole identity was stripped away, and they were reclassified to some completely different that technically had no, it gave them no form of protection against anything. But the underlying issue is that these people coming up out of this, they start overcorrecting those that put them into this box. What do I mean? Okay, well, you disenfranchised us. I don't know who I am. So now I'm going to make some shit up. And while I'm making it up, I'm going to tell you that you're from somewhere else and you have no rights here. You don't belong here. You belong over there. This is the same form of racism, same form of colorism or erasure that was perpetuated on Negroes. They're picking it up and starting to throw it at people who may have Asian descent or who may have European admixture. Now, these same people admit to having some European admixture, but then deny African admixture and say, well, we did this better than the Africans, so we're better than the Africans. Or we didn't do this, so we're better than the Africans. Or we did that and didn't do this, so we're better than the Asians, or those who we consider to be the Asians or the Africans. Let me pull down this screen so you all can view who's on. So excuse me, wait. Let me keep that up. Let me pull this down. Here we go. So with that being said, the my thing about it is, like, when you understand or you're searching for truth, they have to create a barrier. And the barrier they're creating is one that say, well, since we were denied this because of our skin color, we're going to use our skin color to separate us from the world. So then they start repeating European rhetoric. Oh, well, the indigenous Americans were copper toned or they were copper colored. And then you ask them, well, were there other people who came, or excuse me, other indigenous people that came in other tones? They will say, yeah. So then you're like, damn, why are you using copper color to prove as an argument to say, well, you're indigenous, but then you'll use that same argument to say, well, I'm not African because dark skin doesn't make you African. But how does dark skin make you indigenous? And then, being that there were copper colored people, or oh, for real? All right. Hold on, y'all. Pull me up. Pull my trouble. So, uh, as I was saying, got me put my trouble. So as I'm continuing to say, it goes deeper. Now it's these people say, well, we don't. If you spit in the tube, that don't tell you your lineage, and I agree with that. Right? It gives you a certain part, right? Or shows you who you may be uh connected to in certain places. But then the dagger is they'll take these same tests and then say, oh, that person is Asian. So they'll use a DNA test to deny that, oh, well, they're not indigenous because their ancestors come from Asia. And they'll take the same test, and that test say, well, damn, you got ancestors that come from Africa. Nah, the test lying. This is out sanity. So the danger in this rhetoric, and I have this written down. I actually sat down and thought about this. The danger in this rhetoric is if you're pushing that, okay, well, the indigenous people were copper colored, then what you're saying is there were no pale skinned indigenous people. There were no chocolate skinned indigenous people. There were no red skin, no yellows, no different shades of wheat. It only was the copper shade because you're using European rhetoric. The same people say, well, these people misclassified us. We'll go to a European book or a European document and say, look, this is what they said about us. Who is us? Because if they say, well, these people here are dark skinned and you got dark skin, that make y'all one and the same? Hell nah. Oh, well, I'm Yamasi. How are you Yamasi? Because I got dark skin and coarse hair. What the fuck? Is that it? Are there no Yamasi that appear like Europeans today because their grandmothers willingly mixed or may not have willingly mixed? Are there not any Wale that appear like Europeans today because their grandmas mixed with other men and mix and mix and mix? We literally have Wale cousins that speak Spanish, that still speak Spanish. We have Wale elder mothers that appear as if they're Spanish, as if they're Spaniards. But a Negro will tell them, you're not Wale because you're not dark skinned, not understanding. We was the most brown out of all of the southern tribes. Everybody else was darker than us. So saying that your dark skin is makes you Wale when we were the damn near the lightest of everybody in the South, it's an issue. It's an issue. When you don't know who you are and you say, you know what, since I don't know who I am, they're pretending to be me. Whole time they tell you their ancestors came from Asia. Yours are originally supposed to be from the Southeast, but your ass is claiming to be Olmec. How? You're claiming these people are in your seat. You claim these people pretending to be you. Oh, well, my people are Muskogee Creek. Doesn't make any sense. What are your people? Well, we're Muskogee. Well, they didn't become Muskogee until they ran into the Pilgrims. So what is your family? Well, we're Moospa. We come of these tribes, Kowida, Koshida, the Atakada, all these different tribes make up this, and we come up out of that. Okay, so did those tribes not migrate from East Asia? Dagger. See, everybody want to claim shit because what somebody put on paper. Oh, they was dark skinned. That don't mean that they was the same as the original people on this side of the Great Fish River, right? So you have dark skinned people coming in, and with these dark skinned people coming in, a European to say, well, shit, they all dark skinned, they all copper colored. That lumps everybody into a crayon box. That doesn't tell you what nation they come from. Doesn't tell you what tribe they come from. Doesn't tell you anything about them people except they were copper colored. But these Negroes will now use being copper colored to argue down other indigenous people. These Negroes will use being copper colored to separate themselves from the world, not understanding that you need unity in order to actually be who you are. You can't even unify your family, but you got the nerve to hop on the internet every day and tell somebody who the fuck they are. You got some nerve. You got some nerve. You are hurt. I understand. My family been through disenfranchisement too. But what I'm not going to do is tell another human that they don't belong, especially when they're children of the sun. They just appear different than I do. That sun ray landed somewhere else. That blood drop fell somewhere else. And man or human or woman, whatever you want to call it, was created somewhere else. But they're still a child of the sun. But a Negro will say, nah, they're not a child of the sun because they don't have dark skin. Not understanding that that badge was given to the originals. These same Negroes will claim to be originals, but then if you ask them, are your mother and your daddy's siblings, they would say no. Then you ask them, well, how are you the original? So, cultural diversity. What people must understand, being that they don't understand how this works, they must understand cultural diversity. People in the Americas have multiple phenotypes. Even in the Southeast, there were over 30 different phenotypes of indigenous Americans, all who were not considered, their face is not considered Negro. Like Duhar. Duhar is actually pale skinned people who appeared like Negroes, but their color or their skin tone was more paler. They lived in the Wale territory. Cultural diversity. Some people had long hair, short hair, kinkly hair, right? Some people had woolly hair. Some people were tall, short, 5 fingers, 6 fingers, 4 fingers, 3 fingers, 7 fingers, 8 fingers, right? But we're talking about real diversity. But Negroes want to lump it back into a crayon box. They want to tell you, I'm not a Negro. I'm not black. What are you? I'm a copper-colored indigenous American. You dumb ass nigga. See, now I'm on that oil now. You dumb ass nigga. You will say you're not black. You're not Negro. You're copper-colored. You're a damn clown. This is foolishness. This is utter foolishness. Now, our ancestors had a spectrum of skin tones. And their features also differed. They varied, but it was vast. It was so many. Now, outside of their look, even their everyday life, their migration patterns, they were different. But all these people were still indigenous. See, the hate that was pushed on these people are the hate that they're giving back. But it's only because what? It's what they were taught. Had you niggas been taught by y'all elders, y'all wouldn't be pushing the shade. Y'all wouldn't be pushing the shit back. Had you been taught by your own family, you wouldn't have been throwing the hate that the other people gave you back at them. You would take that hate and bury it. It ain't got shit to do with me. You really hate yourself. This is what it boils down to. Self-hate is the reason why people are what? Or do what? They put up resistance. That's why when they see someone who's indigenous but look different from them, they want to automatically put up resistance. No. They not indigenous. Look at how they look. That's literally what Europeans did to you and did to your elders. So you're going to do the same thing back to them. And then their children are going to do the same thing to you, and yours to them, and theirs to yours. And the cycle's never going to fail. It's never going to stop. Because there's no love in the hearts. There's no love in the mind. There's no love in the soul. There's no love in the plasma. There's no love at the heel, at the foot. There's no love in the body. There's no love on the internet. The internet is vicious. So when you combine all that, along with the disenfranchisement, what you get is someone who gets on the internet that's been disenfranchised and has no love in their body. So when someone like me open my arms and say, come on. When someone like Pa open his arms and say, come on. When someone like Crane open his arms and say, come on. You only want to come because our skin is darker than yours. Not because we actually your people. You only want to come along because our skin is darker than yours, and we appear as the people we're written like or written about appear, because that was our people. Now you say, well, that was my people too. How do you know that was your people? Because of look. Wait, what the fuck? You know how many people I look alike that I'm not related to? But we're talking about look. See, there's a form of hypocrisy. When you have a teacher or someone, and they are a teacher because someone considers themselves their student. But when you have a teacher that tells you DNA tests are a lie, DNA tests are wrong, DNA tests cannot assist you, only for that same teacher to see a DNA test of a person and say, oh, this says they're Asian, so they're Asian. Are they really Asian? I thought the DNA test was wrong. That same DNA test say, hey, you got you 33% Nigerian. I ain't 33% Nigerian. What it's saying is it's about 33% of the tested population over there. Of that 33 of that 100%, excuse me, of that 33% of the tested population, you got somebody that's related to you. That don't mean that you come from Africa, but you niggas will take that and say, well, they come from over there. Hypocrisy. Negroes will see people doing they dance. They do they stump dances. They do turkey dance, bear dance. Uh, the Chinese got a fighting style they call the tiger and the crane. But there's a fighting style called the panther and the crane. And Negroes will know nothing about this and say, well, they stole that from us. But you don't know nothing about it. How you know it was yours? How do you truly know it was yours? You don't know. Your grandma said, well, we Cherokee. What Cherokee? So many bands of Cherokee, but grandma is Cherokee. So many clans in Cherokee, but grandma Cherokee. And all you know is grandma's Cherokee, and you're going to take that to argue with other people that's Cherokee, but they appear to be Europeans today. You becoming the ones you hate. It's no longer about teaching the facts of the matter. It's about, I look like this, they look like that. You'll say, well, they did us wrong, and go straight to a European book to explain how your people appeared when they first got with them. Not only will you do that, you will use that in an attempt to disenfranchise people who had nothing to do with your ancestors' disenfranchisement. But you've learned from Europeans. You niggas still only speak English. You niggas still only dress like Europeans. You don't hit your family and build with them and get them together. Instead, you get on the internet and spew hate all day. They can't be indigenous because they don't look this way. This cracker shit. Not because they not that. They don't speak that language. They don't practice that culture or tradition. They don't live that way, so they not that. It's like the gang culture. Peace, Chiantamo. It's like the gang culture. Your granddaddy being the blood of a Crip don't make you a blood of a Crip. There was something your granddaddy did. There were rites of passage that your granddaddy had to learn. There was history that your granddaddy had to learn. There was rituals that your granddaddy either was the master of ceremony or actually who was conducting the rituals or was around when these rituals were being conducted. This is how one is a part of those organizations. This is the same thing with the tribe and the clan. Your grandma Cherokee, okay, you're born into her family. That makes you that family, but it doesn't make you Cherokee. What did you do that made you Cherokee? Did you speak the language? Did your family speak the language? You don't know, because if y'all did, y'all would still have some aspects of it. Did you all eat that way? No, you don't. You eat like an African. You eat rice with every meal. You eat real bullshit. You don't know nothing about medicines. I asked you your migration. You can't tell me nothing about your family's migration outside of what Europeans put on paper. But you got the nerve to fix your mouth to speak against other indigenous people. May one of y'all take over for me for just 2 minutes, please?
Yes, as my nephew was saying, you know, you're becoming who you hate, and you actually show the hypocrisy of when you do that, you know. And one thing about it, before there was any classification of skin tones, we didn't call a classification of skin tones. We say who we are, you know, and that's the thing right there. Because even like dealing with the Yamasi, it says that we are multicultural. Well, what's multicultural? You see, so yeah, they'd be like, well, how that person Yamasi and they look like they white. Well, the thing is, people are going off of lookology because they're trying to say, oh, the phenotype. Well, I was tagged on to something that was on Instagram, and they had the African talking, and they was talking to the African Americans, and it was like, well, how do you know that you are a Aboriginal or a Native American? How could you tell? You know, because you look like an African to me. Well, how does an African look like? Where you have many different tribes and clans and bands of people. Everybody on the continent of Africa don't have the same phenotype. You see, and that's what they try to say. Oh, that, but yet they still trying to tell the people over here in the Americas, and the people in the Americas trying to defend themselves, saying, "Well, my grandmother told me this, and my grandmother told me that." And then you got some people say, "Well, your grandmother lied." Like, how you know if their grandmother lied when their grandmother didn't have no such thing as the internet and everything to say, "Well, this is who you are or what you is." You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because the people like, well, y'all need to come back to Africa. It's like, well, you telling people to come back to Africa, but yet you got Africans in them trying to leave Africa to come over here to have a better life. Now, if things supposed to been so grandeur over there, why you have people leaving to come over here? You know what I'm saying? And it was like, one dude asked another dude, well, when you step out the house, don't you feel racism and everything? Well, from what I gathered, you had some African Americans that went to Ghana, and they say they got treated bad, and they say they sorry they ever went to Ghana. You know, they call them some racist name in their tongue over there in Ghana, and it was like, man, they treat you worse than what you was over here in North America. Well, I need to go back to North America then. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But then they want to talk about slavery and everything and talk about the pale face, but yet, like when you do the investigation and everything, you start seeing how the Portuguese and them was making deals with certain kingdoms over there in Africa, to do the slave trade, but nobody not talking about that. Nobody not talking about how the Portuguese and them made deals with the pale Arabs over there in the eastern part of Africa when it was enslaving Ethiopians and Egyptians and Nubians and stuff. They're not talking about that in the 1500s, you know and it's crazy. Everybody has suffered from the hands of slavery, because then they talk about, oh, the black man or the white T, or they say the YT, right? Instead of saying white. And it's like, come on, y'all. Come on. I mean, I thought people had nationality and birth rights and everything, not color rights. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're dealing with the Declaration of Rights of the Indigenous People, it said people have a right to a nationality. They didn't say a right to a color, you know. And my thing is this: they was talking about, well, you Africans, you Africans, you Africans. And I'm like, hold on. One person got on there and said something that was very profound. They said, well, the word Africa did not come from Cypriot Africanus. There's a group of people that call the F40. Okay, well, the F40 is one specific type of tribe that's over there in Ethiopia. Everybody is not from the tribe of F40. So how you gonna say these people are Africans when they're not F40s? You know, and I like to read something right quick if it's permitted.
Nah, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like to read something because I had to ask them the question. I said, y'all keep on talking about Africa, Africa this and Africa that. I said, well, oh, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna have it right here. Um, I had asked this question, right? I had said that question. Did y'all know that the consensus on the naming of Africa for the continent was indeed formalized at the Berlin Conference in 1884 and 1885? During the scramble of Africa, European powers gathered at the Berlin Conference to divide the continent amongst themselves. As part of this process, the conference participation officially adopted the name Africa as a continental designation. Prior to this, the term Africa was used by some European geographical and explorers, and they said, but it wasn't universally accepted. The Berlin Conference marked a turning point in the formalization of the continent's name. So I asked them about that because I said, how do you say the word Africa in your language? They had a person from Ghana on there. They had a person from Nigeria on there. They had a person from South Africa on there. They had a person from Mali on there. They had a person from Sudan on there. I said, how do you say Africa in your language? They couldn't even answer. And so, with that being said, same thing over here, what we call the Americas. Are you going to find the word Americas in any of the tribal languages over here? Because from my investigation, the word America actually came from a mountain range that's down there in Peru. And that was dealing with a mountain range. But then the Spanish turned around and called our people in the southeast the Ameriqui. You know what I'm saying? But we never called ourselves that. Throughout
Facts.
throughout the language southeast, you know, it's just like people them saying that, oh, we are the Mississippian culture. I said, how you gonna be of the Mississippian culture? And that came by way by the invaders. You know, but just like you said on one of your posts, oh, I can talk about the European invaders, but I can't talk about the Asian invaders. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It all depends on how you coming in as an invader. Are you coming as an invader in peace, or are you coming with war? You know, but people don't want to talk about that. If you got a migration story, how did you migrate to this landmass? Did you come trying to alleviate people that was here already, or did you come in peace? What was your agenda when your people came? And I think that's where some of that coming at too with the racism and stuff. But it's like, well, you couldn't kill us all, so therefore, you know, y'all married in. But then you had those that who's European now that actually came into the tribe by whatever shape, form, or fashion, and they're bringing their racism, saying, "Oh, well, you don't look like you you don't look like you of the people of the woodland or the people of the plains and everything. And it's like, well, how could you say what I look like? Just like somebody made a comment and you always bust it up when they say you don't look like your ancestors. Well, how do you know how my ancestor look? How do you know how do you know that my ancestor look like? Because from
Facts.
the last time I checked, the Polaroid camera, well, the cameras didn't come about until what? Uh Dealing with the 1800s. So what kind of polarization do you have to say how my people look like? Because number one, you didn't do no excavation in the mounds or in the graves or whatever to say, well, oh, this how the people look. You didn't do that. You didn't do that. So how could you say how my ancestors look like when you don't even much know yourself? Because you was in there 4,000 years ago, 15,000 years ago, 150 years ago. You was not there. But the blood was. The blood was because you are a descendant of those people.
Facts.
Big facts.
I turn the floor over to you, Konin. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I was just tapping in. You said a few things that I did want to touch on. One, when you was mentioning the taking of people from East Africa by the Arabs. What a lot of people not taking into account is what that did was brought a lot of new people into West Africa. So the people that a lot of people that's considered West Africans today were subjugated and actually forced to travel that continent on foot, which put them there, right? And when that happened, it it's easy for an American to say, well, hold on, let me step out because I don't want the TV to go off. It's easy for an American to say, well, they just took Africans, but that's the cracker in them. That's the European in them. They shut down specific chiefdoms and went to specific tribes and subjugated these people, forced them to a whole new place on their own continent, then began to do deals with others that was buying these people and ship them to a whole nother place. So that hate that they faced in their land is a similar hate that Americans, the original quote unquote Americans faced in their land, which actually caused these people to come together and seek each other as allies later on. A beautiful story. A story that's usually minimized by, nah, slave trade never happened. But these are people who are educated or educating themselves. Another thing I want to touch on is you said something or you quoted one thing that I said, and it was this. So, how can I talk about outside invaders or European invaders, but I can't talk about indigenous invaders? And the reason people don't want me to talk about it is because it's a topic they ain't touched yet. That's the facts of the matter. All of this shit that I cover or that we cover here, majority of it people never heard. So once you start to tell, like, wait, hold on, y'all worried about the Europeans when it was a chiefdom that went from the bottom of Florida to fucking Canada, and it was other indigenous people that shut it down. Then these people started to break up into smaller groups because they were forced to by your family, who, and then your family was later turned on by their own people. I'm not Muskogee. What I mean by that is my family wasn't a part of the Muskogee Confederacy. It's a union. So when that union shut shit down, and then those Negroes got turned on by their own people, those Negroes now start claiming shit that don't belong to them because they look like other niggas. This shit is fucking outsane. Let's see, is this a question or a statement? Chief Langley said that at some point after certain generations that the blood or relationship to certain ancestors is distant past, that they would, so they can't get that on their tests. They're still there. It's still there. He went to Africa for a fucking reason. It's still there. It's there. And I want to say this, please, if you have any questions, please drop your questions. If you have any questions about anyone else or anyone else's rhetoric, I wish not to speak on that because that's going to cause a form of division, being that I don't agree with everything. So, yeah, if you do have any questions, please drop those questions in the comments. Now, back to what we was talking about. What blow me all the time is, and I'll repeat it, for people who hate being judged by the way they look, the first thing they do to other people who say they're indigenous is what?
Judge how they look. They gonna say, pull out your Indian card.
Where
Prove
your card at? Prove it. You not full blood. My grandma pure blood. Choctaw.
Show us you register.
Where you registered at? I want to know
Oh,
all this.
Oh, you ain't federally recognized and you not state recognized.
Yeah, you ain't federally recognized, so you not Indian for real. You not state recognized, so you not Indian for real. This is literally what the niggas will use everything the crackers used against them, against other niggas, because they don't know. They hate you and hate themselves how they cracker ass granddaddy hated them. They why niggas wake up and brush their teeth in the mirror and don't brush their teeth and don't even look in the mirror. They look in the fucking sink. They hate what they see in the mirror.
Man, that's tough.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
it's
tripping.
It's like one person had told my cousin, say, yeah, my white boy coming shutting down stuff. I'm a white boy, but I'm more Indian than you. That sounds so oxymoronic, if that's a word. It is like really, you already know, like, you know, so you want people to accept your admixture, but you can't accept the admixture of those who have African admixtures, but it's okay to accept your European admixtures. Like,
Tough.
yeah, like, come on.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Cause and what blow me is, you could say, hey yo, so your family, like, what's your family clan? Oh, nigga, I asked nigga, and it's okay to say I don't know because there are ways that you can get it back. I continuously say this to people, but they ignore me. They be like, oh, fuck him, he don't know what he talking about. Let me go ask somebody that's federally and state recognized. So when you ask somebody this question, me, it's a judge question. I'm testing you. I want to see how far you are in this. I want to see where your mind is at. Because if I ask you, what's your family, what's your clan? And you say, well, I don't know. I really want to find out. That conversation that we gonna have is gonna be more beautiful than fucking saying, oh, I don't subject myself to any clans or religions. What the fuck? What the other nigga said? Oh, you talking about clans. You must be talking about shit in Africa because we don't have clans in the Americas.
What?
Oh my God. Y'all didn't know I had this conversation with a nigga on fucking Instagram?
You sure did.
Bro, after he said that, he say, my family clan is Stewart. The House of Stewart. I say, but shit, that's European. First, you said clans deal with Africa. Americans don't have clans. But then named your clan. Wouldn't that technically make you an African according to what you said? Fuck what I said.
Right.
But people don't understand the clan system. So they don't understand that in Africa, there's a clan system. The Zulu are a clan within the system. They're a patrilineal system, which is why Shaka, even though he was raised by his mother and his stepfather, he took over what clan? Zulu. But his mother, Nandi, was from another clan, which was the Elephant clan, which is why even though he ruled the Zulu family, he still called himself what? The Great Elephant. He was his mother's son. Even in the patrilineal system, Shaka knew that he was his mother's son. Now, somebody that doesn't understand the languages that are in Africa and how they were formed, and I'm not talking about trade languages. Shaka was called Nkosi, Nkosi, King, Nkosi, and Nkosi, the King of Kings. How ironic is that that same word becomes Ngozi and Nasuti the further you go up in Africa, which ties the Zulu and that clan and the Nahomandi and that clan back to the Nile. See, if we did this linguistic study or linguistic anthropology in the Americas, niggas are crack. Because you start asking niggas where these words come from, they gonna fold under pressure because they don't know. And it's okay not to know. But these niggas on the internet answer just the fuck because. What's your clan? Nah, I gotta do it Africa. It's Stewart. Where your people from? Nah, my people from such and such, but my grandma them from such and such, my auntie them from that's not how that works. Had they taken the time to study this shit for real, they'd have the answers to the questions that they need to have the answers to. Instead, it's just I'm dark skinned, I'm copper tone, excuse me. So I'm indigenous. That shit is insane to me.
Konin, look, when it came down to Shaka, he said Nkosi Bibabosi. Nkosi Bibabosi. Nkosi Bibabosi, which means he was the king and he was the big elephant.
This is what's going on. That was his mother's lineage.
Right.
But he still ruled through his father. This is why if you watch the movie, they say, and when the song about Nandi, they say that who knew that my son would rule through me is because they were in a patrilineal system.
Right.
So with him putting his mother on the throne, it literally inverted everything that they believed in. But don't nobody know how the clan system worked. So they didn't know how or why his daddy had to go back and get him to rule. He ain't had no fucking sons. So if his son didn't rule, he would have had to pass it on to who? His brother's son, which you see in the movie, and then his brother's son gets smoked. So that's a part of the clan system. But nobody ever watched Shaka with the mindset of actually understanding, like, damn, this shit really about bloodline. So let's see, it says, does the panel know of any North American people that use the version of the word American? The most common one I hear is American or Amarucan. The closest word you will get to the true form of American is a Spanish form of the word Yamasi. And that word is amocracy. Amocracy eventually became shortened to Omicron. the Europeans took the South American suffix, which could mean people of one or one suffix. They changed it to American, which meant those who are in America that reside in the South. You have then Amorgarican. So it's different, right? But the oldest name comes from somebody trying to pronounce Yamasi in the completely different dialect and said democracy. And this was back in the 1500s. You also have the word Yamasee that's found in the 1500s that dealt with two groups of people who eventually became one. It was a group of Yamasee that came down to the Carolinas and mixed with a group of people Europeans called Kasabu, which is why you see the word Yamasee and Kron at the end as the suffix, as opposed to Cora or those other dialects that branched off from Isa and found their way into these different southeastern languages. So there are people who actually had a version of that word. Um, Says it's important to know the languages of the land you come from. Facts. Even if you don't know the language per se, if you learn words and how these words, if you learn how the language is structured, learning words will be easy. Ha! I finally found this possum that been getting in my what's the name. I'm finna crack his ass. Somebody take over real quick.
I got it. But yeah, knowing the languages of the land that you come from is very important today, because we are dealing with a change inside of this world. I don't know if people realize that, but we are dealing with a change inside of the world. So to know the languages of where your people came from is very important to, because eventually you're gonna have to bring back those trades. There will eventually probably be a reset. We might lose the tongue that we know today as English or whatever, blah blah blah, or it may become broken or blah. It changes, and we don't even realize it that it's happening. Even today, we use emojis. Emojis is a language. People don't even realize that. People use that all the time. Don't even realize it. So yeah, it's definitely good to know the languages of from where you came from, and even more. And to do that, you'll be able to pick up on dialects a lot easier from other people when you hear them.
See, so we don't have any questions. Don't have any questions. Oh, we did have, that was one question. Uh, right.
You cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, my bad. Pardon me. You can hear me now? Mic check.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, facts. Now, Unc asks who does the recognizing, right? And that's an important question, because I was asked a question today, and the question took me back to a conversation I had earlier in the week, and even I had earlier this year about the status correction, right? And I just had this conversation with one of my LBs, and he was getting mad because he like, bro, it's deeper than that. It's the UCC, protect your assets, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, you're talking from an individual perspective. You're not talking about how you're going to get your family together and protect your assets. What you talking about is, oh, I can sign my name on this paper and that's going to pay for what I want to get. I told him, I say, bro, that's fraud. Or I'm going to change my race on my birth certificate because they did this. And it's like, but you know right now, again, If you just get your family documents, if you document it, that's enough. That's more than enough. Creating trust, family, right? One can say, and this is something I said before. I say, well, I see why certain tribes, um, she said, nah, I'm definitely not eating him. But he got hit. But there are, don't want to lose my thought. I thought about it one day. I say, damn, I wonder why the Muskogee, the Cherokee, the Seminole, all these different quote unquote nations are actually businesses. Like they all have EINs. So these are entities that can also sue and be sued. So according to the United States government, these are real entities. Some tribes have 501c3 or they become or they set up, right? And I thought about it and I say, damn, I always been a critic. But what if I stopped being a critic and said, let me find some positives within this? And I found out that if you set up a business, and this is a business owner, this is somebody this is a business owner. Got to think, right? If I set up a business, and in this business, I have to have what? A board of directors. Now you set up the board of directors, but you also have to have what with your business? Constitution and bylaws. This is like, right? Now, if you want to hire someone for your business, you create an application. Now, on this application, there are certain requirements or things that the person actually has to fit to get this job. Now, upon this doing this application, and you get called in for an interview. While you're interviewed, your work history is looked through and you're asked questions about this job and how this job fits you. Now, if you're hired on this job, you get training. You're taught how to work or taught how to do the things sufficiently to keep this machine running. Now, in order for you to come on the plant, hint, hint, in order for you to access the benefits, we must now identify you with an ID. Being that this business and or company may be tax exempt, then you too, being that you are an employee or a member of this business, when you go do business or your commerce, you're doing business on behalf of the nation. So you become what? Tax exempt. This is literally how some tribes operate. The majority of the Fed, all Fed Recs have IENs. They have to do business. So not only do they have IENs, there are members who also have social security numbers, which are ITINs, which are tax identifiers. Because what? They have to do business too. So there are some benefits to being or having that 501c status, 501c3 status in a certain capacity. Even the same with running things as an official business because it protects you in their system. But if you do things traditionally, tribe would be separate from business. Any business done with tribe would be done the tribe's way. So for instance, if I wanted to get something from Little Deer, I actually have a certain currency that I have to put in to make sure that that gets there. It goes how it's supposed to go. That's tribally. But if I was doing it in business through the United States government, then I would be using fiat, something that's it's a promise note, basically, right? This I give you this in a promise that this would be done. So there are actually benefits to that, depending on how you work it, but and also depending on how you defend it. Because if you defend it truthfully, because you actually understand how it works, then maybe more people will be more inclined to understand how it works as opposed to setting things down, right? Or shutting it down. This is a great question here. What about the tribes and families that are set up as a ministry? 501c3. This is the same thing. The family being set up as a ministry literally takes on a form of the clan system. The pastor, the male, is the voice of the family or the church, hint, hint. But who truly controls the church? The mothers of the church. This is why the mothers sit where? In the front row. Even if the Masons and the Sistars came to the church, they sit behind the mothers of the church. And outside of the pastors and the mothers of the church, you still have a reverend and an apostle who's higher than the pastor. You have deacons. You have armored bearers, which are the warriors. You have ushers, which are your spy boys. But the church is set up the same way as the clan system. But the church is nothing but tribe. This is why when white man used to leave out the church, them chants used to start up. Them real rituals used to start up. Grandma ain't just have no Bible under her shawl. It was a blade under there too. It was some medicine under there too. Even today, grandma still got that thing up under there too. Up under that, right? Up even under that lap cover. Excuse me. Because the shawl go around the shoulders.
They
But
say peace
you
be
never know.
still.
Come on, peace be still. So setting the family up as a ministry, now that I'm wiser now, there's no reason with protecting the family the best way that one knows how to protect the family until they can do or learn better. A ministry is perfect being what? That's the families. And then when you put that church on the land, then that land becomes what? You're not paying taxes on that land no more, are you? But I ain't want to pay it in the first place, right? That's why you use that. Since you got to play their game, that's why you use that. You know what? I'll put a church on my land. As a matter of fact, we finna bury Uncle Joe over there too. So now
Take the
what?
tax off the land too.
Dagger. So now what? Now Uncle Joe buried on the land. And we got a church and a school.
And you got land forever.
And we got land forever now. We got hospital. We actually mapping it out now, so now we can make roads. But it's not just our family, it's your family too, because your family said, fuck that. We need liberation. True liberation. We need to do for ourselves. The more we can do for ourselves, the less we gotta land on them. So if you bout it, you bout it. If your family if you fucking stuck on colorism, your ass is gonna fade. You're gonna fade away. You're gonna fade away. While everybody else, all the children of the creator, all of the shades of the rainbow will be looking at your dark skinned ass like, look at you. Will be looking
Claudia,
at your cracker ass like, look at
Claudia,
you. You rather be a racist. You
you all
rather
right,
be a
man?
colorist
Okay,
than
I'm
say,
just
you
making
know
sure.
what? There are ways that I can actually liberate my family. Let's see. Any other questions? Questions. Anybody got something to get off their chest? That's on the panel, or anybody want to join in? That's in the chat. Just ask me for the link. Y'all can get it. Let me see. So, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Facts. A family cemetery. Facts. And the thing is, and I've been saying this for years. Niggas that don't own shit should not be on the internet telling niggas what to do. Niggas don't own their home. Niggas don't own any firearms. Niggas don't own their car. Niggas don't own nothing. But get on the internet and say, oh, we need to go to war. That's the only way we can solve this problem. It's fucking insane. It's insane. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it real. A man that's never been married can't tell me shit. Even if he got a divorce, you can tell me some shit. You experienced some shit. You've never been married. You can't tell me no shit. Can't tell me shit. Ain't no woman ever trust you enough to put her life in your hands. Whether it ended good or bad, you can't tell me shit. So why the fuck do these niggas get on the internet and spew this shit rhetoric to single men and hope that these niggas crash out? Y'all don't see that these niggas is agents? Nobody ever peeped that shit, bro. That every time the energy goes up, a certain form of nigga get pushed to the public. And nobody ever noticed that this same nigga always turned out to be a fucking pedophile.
Every time.
Every time niggas get on the internet and go to pushing a nigga, this nigga somehow just got out of jail out of nowhere. Remember, these niggas be getting out, bro. We don't know who these niggas is, where the fuck they come from. Never seen them in the whole time of your life. Bitch pop out with 100,000 followers. That's a fucking agent. That's an agent. Let's see. War requires resources. Niggas better off reading The Art of War. Facts. How do you go to war without resources? Who's funding the war? If you get cut off of the USDA, what do you have to trade with other people or other tribal nations to make sure that your people could eat? Because it's tribes out here with their own food. So if you go through it with the government or even the city government and they say, you know what, since we can't do it how we want to do it, we just go send the city government at them niggas. What do you have that you can send to the Yamasee Nation and make sure your nation eat? What do you have that you can send to the Muskogee or the Cherokee, the Lower Cherokee, the Seminole, the Shawnee, the Shakori, all of these different groups? If anybody wanted to fucking assist you, what could you give them? You couldn't give them shit. Niggas be talking all this. My ancestors had gold teeth. How much gold do you own? My ancestors used to put opal in their teeth. Do you own any precious stone? Fuck no. Niggas get on the internet and go to typing. That's why I just lost 3 followers now, because they don't own shit. It is what it is. I said it. Aha. Now what? That's why. But niggas want you to go to war about a cause they don't really believe in. Because had they truly believed in it, they wouldn't be on the internet talking that shit. They'll be going to teach you. They'll be going to talk to grandma. So, anybody want to get anything off their chest before I do go in this house? I just looked down at the screen. I'm an hour 9 minutes in. So Anybody want to close us out?
I missed the first 30 minutes. I came in when Paul was talking.
Okay, perfect. So
So
basically, what I was building on was how people are becoming what they hate. So indigenous Americans,
okay.
that's dark skinned, nigger Americans for short term, for lack of better words, they're starting to push the same racism and colorism that
I
others
see.
was pushing on them on others, right? Or
Yeah.
on their ancestors, on other people who didn't have shit to do with it.
Okay.
So if they see somebody that say, "Well, I'm indigenous," they say, "Nah, you Asian." But it's like, wait, ain't they indigenous Americans? Nah, they got ancestors that come from Asia. Well, how do you know that? Because this DNA test say they do. But shit, will you take a DNA test? Nah, DNA test be lying. The fuck?
Okay. Yeah, I had the
You
same discussion at the barbershop.
you know what's
Yeah.
so funny? You know what's so funny, nephews? They say the test be lying, but yet how your blood go lie on you?
Say that
How your
again,
blood
man.
how
How
your
you,
blood go lie on you? These people don't know you from a can of paint. You spit in the tube and you send it. They don't know. They just want to know you by your
but
name.
their blood tell them who they mama's mama, they mom.
Right,
They don't
right.
they don't they don't know how it worked. That's the issue that they have.
True.
They don't know how the test work. They'll see a test, the shit'll say in layman's terms, 60% indigenous American, 30% African. And it's and you have the subgroups in there, so don't worry about me naming the subgroups. 10% European, 5% Polynesian, 4% Asian. A nigga say, oh, that's 99.9%. That's stupid. That's not what they fucking saying. What they saying is your DNA only matches that percentage of that population, and not all of your DNA, but a specific part of your DNA matches these particular people. That don't mean that's your fucking origin, nor does it mean that those people originate in the fucking place that they're considered today.
Right,
But niggas don't
right,
know how the test work.
right.
These niggas don't know how the test work. If these niggas was fucking in divergent, they'll be factionless. Niggas ain't got no clan, no knowledge about shit. You hop on the internet, half-ass study some shit that another motherfucker half-ass study, and then you run and try to teach it. And then when you run into somebody that knows slightly better, not more, but knows better than you do, oh, that gotta be a white man behind that page.
This like this
That
like
too.
Yo,
Hey,
hold on, hold on, A
the
nigga
man
really
said
told
to
me, bro. A nigga say this gotta be a white boy behind this page, cause ain't no way he know about that. I said, what the
a
fuck?
nigga told me, he said, I don't listen to anything that come out of the white that came from the white man. I said, so you telling me that my knowledge come from a white man?
But
I went, you
that's
know what
how.
I did? You know what I did? I pulled out the blue file, went to the back of the book, showed him your picture. I said, that
Hell
man look white to
no.
you?
Hell, I'm telling you, cuz I be whooping people ass so bad they think I'm a cracker, bro.
this like this nephew. Remember old girl, the one that said, "Oh, anthropology don't have nothing to do with DNA."
Crazy shit,
Right.
dumbass. You somebody elder auntie. Oh, I teach about African genetics, and anthropology and genetics have nothing to do with each other.
Old
I
girl,
would have
What
stopped
the
her right there when she
fuck?
just
old
said
girl.
African anthropology. I'd have like, why not anthropology in general?
You talking about old
Right,
girl,
And
cuz?
right.
not cuz it was some other shit. By auntie, yeah, some shit happened with an older woman. Um, she wanted to argue about the fact that um scientists have proved that the Gullah have female Native American ancestry. So she say no. There, if you're talking about mDNA or M haplogroup is African. It migrated from the L haplogroup. I said, well, I'm not talking about M haplogroup. I said M line, which is matrilineal line, and I put mtDNA, which is mitochondrial DNA. But Auntie was so ignorant, she ignored everything I said to focus on what she wanted to read. She denied what I said. She then denied what was in the science book, only to tell me how she felt. I don't give a fuck about how you. Only person feelings I care about is that woman in that room. I don't care about nobody else's feelings. So you shouldn't approach. Fuck all that. How are you in somebody's school teaching them science of any form when you're going to tell them genetics has nothing to do, or anthropology has nothing to do with genetics, when biological anthropology is literally the main branch within the study of anthropology? Second, you have linguistic anthropology.
So she said she's a teacher.
She's she's supposed to be a teacher. So crazy.
Man,
She even
everybody when you
People,
listen, I noticed this too. Just like how you said, when these motherfuckers get on us internet and they start bumping into people who know a little more than them or something, everybody is a damn teacher or a scientist or some crazy shit. Like, no, ain't no way, couldn't be.
cause Auntie got her own vocational school where she teaches children. Bro, if my child came to me and told me my teacher said that anthropology and genetics ain't got shit to do with each other, I would withdraw my child from that classroom. That's why I don't send my kids, or that's why I wouldn't send my children to the devil. People on the listen, there's no nigga on the internet that got a child right now whose child is in the public school that can tell me anything. They miseducated you. They disenfranchised you. They lied to you. They barely taught you. And the thing your lazy ass do is send your kids to the fucking devil to be educated.
with the same information that they
With the same
misfed you.
information. We not talking about those who say,
You
well, you
mean
know what?
you mean
I'm working.
indoctrinated?
I've already built something, and I'm building something to get my children out of that. We talking about the niggas they ain't doing nothing.
The General Board of Education.
We talking about those that ain't doing nothing. Not those that say, you know what, I don't have time. I work 12 hours a day. You do have fucking time. You know how I know you have time? You got time to listen to motherfuckers on social media. Take
Right,
that time to educate your fucking children properly.
Get that
right.
damn computer out your face.
Get the computer out your face.
Deprogram the program.
Reprogram the program. Something that
Them,
you've
them the same
educated.
people. Them the same people that when they get pulled over by the cops, bro, they tell them that they know their rights.
I know my rights. Why you going? I know my rights. Bro, you know how many niggas done went to jail because the crackers said they're detaining them? How you just gonna arrest me? Sir, I'm not arresting you, sir. I'm detaining you. Yeah, you can't arrest. Yeah, stupid ass going to jail. Stupid
Disorderly
ass going to
conduct.
jail. You going to jail. Oh, hey, bro, I did such and such and such, and I need to be liberated. What you mean, yo boy? I'm trying to have my status corrected. I got a warrant. For what? Man, I robbed the house last week. So you expect the tribe to take you in because you robbed the house so them crackers don't get you? So you just trying to buck authority because you were under their jurisdiction when you committed that crime. But now you want to run to somebody else's jurisdiction in prayer in hopes that they save you from them crackers. This is crazy shit. Let me take my sip. This is outsaying to me. My thing is this, and my thing has always been this. There can be unification amongst families who are a part of different tribes, but in the form to liberate everybody else. This is what confederacies were about. You are that tribe or band. I'm this tribe or band. But if we remove tribes and bands, the only thing that we're left with is what? The clan system and the social organization. So you have a clan, I have a clan, Pa got a clan, Reem, Rome, Munt, people have clans. Uncle Ed, you have a clan. People listening, everybody listening has a clan. So if there are 6 people listening and 4 people on here, and out of that 10 people, you counted up six to 7 different clans. These families start doing business amongst each other. They don't have to call themselves Yamasi or Wale or Ikwa or Iba. They simply are who they are, but dealing with other families. Once you do start adding these names to it, then what you do is start to expand this unification. Because now you say, well, this is my tribal nation. This is my clan, my family, but this is my tribal nation. This is how we move forward, not only as a family, but extended family. So now the tribal council not only includes my family and your family, but my tribe and your tribe, and my nation and your nation, and his clan and tribe and nation, and her clan, tribe and nation, and her clan, tribe and nation. So now, when somebody say, well, how do I identify as an Indian? Who's going to protect me? Wouldn't you all on the phone protect me? If I say,
Of
well,
course.
I'm indigenous, I'm such and such from such and such. Well, who can vouch for this? And I can get on the phone not only with my family, but other family and tribal nations to say, that's who he is. This is who we are. And we know who he is. That's a form of defense that not many people have. So don't be afraid to go amongst these tribal nations and get your family right. Don't be afraid to go amongst these tribal nations and tell them that you need the recognition. I need you to recognize me. I recognize you. You are who you are. This is my proof. This is what I have for my family to prove who I am. So I don't have a clan, and I don't have clan mothers. I'm out here by myself. All I have is work or proof that my family was disenfranchised. And I have a letter from my elders explaining that they were Cherokee at one point. Big Chief, what can I do with that? What you do is you take that, what you have, and you go amongst the people that you've befriended, those that actually know you, not just care about you, but there's a tribal people out there that actually gives a fuck about you and your well-being. And they say, well, being that you are a male and you have no clan mothers with us today, and you have no clan fathers who have daughters, what we're going to do is send you on this rite of passage, and we're going to put you through these tests. And as some people say, you have to, or as even in Hebrews chapter 5, a high priest has to offer or sacrifice something. So what can you offer a sacrifice, not to us, but for yourself, to the greater good? that'll make us adopt you and take you in as one of our own. Because you know who you are, but you don't have a clan mother or family members or active family members. So you become one of ours. And now that you're one of ours, and you say, well, I am Yellow Jumper of the Jumper family, and my clan mothers are Dancing Jumper, Silver Jumper, and my big chief is the Horned Jumper, and I'm from the town of Blackwater. And somebody say, well, no, you're not. That's not what you are. Before you get on them, you just call your family. And your family answer, yeah, what's going on, family? In your language. And greet you in your language. And laugh. And say, wait, they said you not what? You ours. You're one of ours. But what if I'm a woman and I don't have any clan mothers? And all I have is this little bitty paperwork that can prove my disenfranchisement. Now, I don't have any paperwork that says that I'm Indigenous American. I don't have any paperwork saying that I'm Creek, Muskogee, Cherokee, Lenape, nothing. I have nothing. But you've been dealing with a tribal people for months, years, for some time now. And they explain to you that hey, your bloodline isn't dead. The only thing that's missing is your family spirit. And being that you don't have any children now, you can be taken into one of these families as a sister, as an auntie, and maybe later as a mother. But what if you know who you are and you have that familiar spirit? And the elders or the medicine workers, they call the medicine men, Europeans call them shamans. We didn't have shamans. And the medicine men say, this is what it is. She know who she is. She has no children at this moment, but she's the founding mother of this family and clan. And this says how it shall be in our system. And in their system, her family's over there because this is where she will be placed in the ceremonial grounds. That can be done too. See, women have this saying, big dick energy. Niggas with big dicks know what they're talking about. You walk around this bitch like a cat. This shit's mine. What do you mean? What? That same energy needs to be taken into this. You can't tell me who the fuck I am. My people already told me. My people already told me. Now, this question is a great question. How does one know if they have a familiar spirit? If they don't know, then they don't. If they know, they'll tell you. That's the answer to that. And that's the key. I know who I am. This is who I am. That's how you know. You know when you know. It's like that saying Masons have, those that act, or what it says, those that know, or those that tell don't know, and those that know, or those that know, and those that don't know, tell. So it's so many different ways of saying it, but in so many words, when you know who you are, you know who you are. When you come asking questions, somebody has to give you back answers. So if you don't know, you just say, I don't know if I have a family spirit clan. I don't know what my clan was. So now I'm coming asking, what is it? How do I learn? What ceremonies do I have to go through? What do I have to bring to even, right? Where? How is this done? What does it take? Once this is done and I become one with, how do you protect me? Not only in our system, but say they were to screw me in their system. Are you going to stand up for me? Yes. If so, how? The right questions have to be asked. And that was a perfect question. How does one know if they have a familiar spirit? They will simply know. Anyone else, anybody else want to touch on anything?
Was the clans polygamous?
Oh, of course. Men and women were polygamous or polyamorous. You had what you can take care of. Or if there was a woman that wanted to be had, hint, hint, if she had children from different men, all of those men still were taking care of not only her, but those that she birthed. So this was a form of, I get two niggas to provide for my household. That helped grow her family. So many women were polyamorous, and same with men, right? What is it? Polygamous, what they call it, polygamy. But here's the thing: there were no marriages, so she didn't belong to you. Children didn't belong to you. Same thing with her and the man. The man didn't belong to her unless he moved into her shit. Then technically he was her property. Or her family's property because she lived in the family house. So he would have been subjected to everything that go on in there. Let's see. Are there any other questions that we do have in the chat before I hop off? It's almost 10. Well, I ain't gonna lie to Bucket. I'll do this. Uh, I ain't doing shit tomorrow. Tomorrow Sunday, NFL Sunday. Y'all already know weekends is my weekends. I don't be doing shit on the weekends. So I'll hop on tomorrow early, probably around 10 or 11 before the games come on. And I should have an early topic. What I'll do is I'll do not a double header, but I'll come on twice tomorrow. What topic should I speak on? Because I get a lot of family, a lot of clan questions. Kitty Fire, I know you watching, cuz drop a clan question for me or a question that deals with families in the chat that you may have or that you think others may have um, that can assist them in the future. If not here, you can shoot it to me, just DM it to me, and that'll be our topic for tomorrow. Because I know it's a lot of people that really want to know how clans work. I don't too much want to focus on the invasion of the Lenape and the Muskogee, being that those bloodlines eventually became a majority, right? And for me, that's a story that I personally think should be kept amongst us in the Southeast and taught to perfection, taught step by step. That way, when it does come out, or we do speak on it tribally or with these different tribes that were affected by the war, it'll have more of an effect than simply, right? Than simply just whipping it, simply beating on it, basically. Um, so shit like that. Let's see. What if a familiar spirit follows you and you can tell but can't identify it yet? that question is what I'll use to start tomorrow. So that'll be one of the questions I start on tomorrow. Again, anybody in the chat, anything that y'all want to touch on before I do
Another
close it down?
another question you they can deal with why do people hate admixtures?
Why do people hate admixtures? Okay, that's two. That's two. So that'll be the second video. Will be why do people hate admixture? Um, and what I'll do is I'll pull some things. I'll pull some text that dealt with different people mixing in and how that go, and then I'll also explain the difference between the Wale Yamasi, and the Wale African, based off actual anthropology work. Since Auntie said anthropology and genetics don't go hand in hand, so I definitely bring out some science for that. But outside of that, everybody, you all have a wonderful night. If you do have any other questions, please DM me. DM is always open. But you all call my phone. If you call me after 10 o'clock, I'm blocking your ass. My wife did not play that shit.
Hey, he not lying.
Bro, if you call, cause if after 10 o'clock,
Hey,
I'm
listen,
locked
listen, listen.
in.
I look here. I almost slipped up yesterday.
Hey, I did slip up yesterday.
No, boy, it been 11:20. I'm texting. I got the full sentence and everything. I'm about to hit the send button. I look at the time. I said, boy, hold up. I don't even usually be up this late sometime, right? I mean to text you this morning, but I forget why I typed. So that's why I hit you. But I ain't seen that message. I said, man, bro, sleep. He probably in there with his wife. I ain't gonna disrespect. I'll save this for another day. I delete the text message because this was last night, yesterday, 11:20.
Cause
Man, that probably about the same time I called. I was on the phone with Red Crane and ended up calling Lil. He said, I'm gonna hit y'all boys back in the morning. I'm out of there.
bruh, listen, I know it's time for me to go in. I just dropped my cup and broke it.
Nah.
It's just crazy, insane. But man, that woman is 108 pounds of straight pressure, bro. I don't want to argue with her. I ain't trying to hear Nathan. I'm trying to
That's
go in. I'm not
C4.
trying to hear nothing, bro.
Stick of dynamite.
Nephew, 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 Wale.
To me.
Where he go? I know he didn't tap out.
I think he said, talk to me.
Now
You
you
been
broke
on
up.
mute.
Talk to me.
Yeah, yeah. What about this question, right? What about this question? Um, how could those of African descent hide amongst the tribal nations of the Southeast as easy as they did?
Say that again, Pa.
That's a good
How
ass
could
one right there.
how could African how could African slaves live amongst the southeastern tribes if they didn't look alike?
Man.
Put that one in the notes. Do that tomorrow too, or for another day.
Yeah,
That's
I'll add that for tomorrow to the admixture question.
yeah.
yeah, we could touch on that. Oh yeah, and we all need to be tapped into Southeast Talking Stick tomorrow at 7 p.m.
You got the
Facts. That's
link?
gonna be crazy. Nah, tomorrow, I'm gonna send you the link. But tomorrow on Podem channel, if those who are listening and future listeners, um, the mother, the beautiful spirit, that birth, Chief Two Clouds will be on their podcast, And what will be talked about is not only his life, but how his life was taken from him by family and racist fucks, right?
Right.
His life and his story was overshadowed, can be overshadowed by his death if it wasn't for someone like his mother. She's gonna use his life to override the abuse that they called to his physical body to liberate him. Not only liberate him, but to lock up those who had dealings in his murder. If you studied his murder or anything dealing around it, dealing with the situation, then you truly understand what's going on. If you do not, again, as Mutt said, please tune in to the Southeastern Talking Stick podcast tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, as you will receive great detail. Um, do clear your minds, because if you come with a heavy mind and a heavy heart, I guarantee you water will begin to flow, not only from your eyes, but out your pores, because the pressure, the story itself just makes you upset. It evokes emotion. So
That's what Paul
definitely
shared earlier today, I guess.
say that again.
That's what Paul shared earlier today. I had like see something on his page
Right,
earlier today when
right,
I been at
right,
work.
right.
Yeah,
And there
tune in
there are,
tomorrow. I will be in there. Uh,
yeah, for sure. But there are people who have used his death for their personal gain. That too. I myself are going to address tomorrow. Especially being that there are other people who are using his name to threaten others. Like, oh, you
Right.
better chill out, or we'll do you like such and such did Two Clouds.
Right.
For somebody to make that statement, that mean they don't give a fuck. They feel like they're untouchable. So what
Right.
goes on in Indian country sometimes have to be pushed to certain levels to get certain shit done. So you all definitely tapped in tomorrow. Much love. Thank y'all for sitting here with for 2 hours. I don't know how I'm 30 with a squeaky voice. Don't ask me. But hey, the shit worked, right? See y'all tomorrow. Much love.
Love, love.